Good morning. Welcome to
Hi.
QuestionPro
Yes.
Office Hours, and we are live across YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and we are so glad that you are joining us. We have a first-time Office Hours guest, which I'm very excited about, and today we are going to be chatting about employee surveys made simple. So it's the first of the year for many of us still, and we want to make sure that you guys understand how to take care of your employees this year, and not only how to do it in a big employee experience, culture, dynamics, which we totally can do, but if you are just getting started with your employee experience and your employee surveys, QuestionPro literally can do the simplest things for you. And we have brought in Jackie Trasker to help us talk about that. Jackie, tell us a little bit about what you do at QuestionPro.
Yes. Thank you for having me, Miss Crystal. So my expertise here at QuestionPro is really to help my clients with the employee experience side. So obviously, QuestionPro, we do a lot of different types of surveys, from market research to customer experience, but my expertise here at QuestionPro is with the employee experience side. So basically the internal surveys through the company. And basically my experience before coming here was really with the employment world. Just making sure, when someone left, getting someone else in the seat. And it was kind of just a revolving door. And after speaking with the presidents, how do we help understand and just retain people instead of just keeping the revolving door going? I'm like, why are we spending so much money, just replacing people day after day when we should be listening to them and keeping people that we know and we like, and they know our company.
Yeah.
It just makes so much sense. And it's so much more affordable to just listen to them and keep them in the company than it is to go to staffing companies and just replace them with someone new. So it's just so eye-opening from being like in the employment, like staffing type industry, than to come to QuestionPro and help our companies use these very easy surveys that I think, a lot of our clients are just like, it's something we have to do. And I think they look at it as like, oh my God, like, where do I even get started? Where it's like, we have a whole team that will like back you up, or it's like, let us just show you how easy it is with like templates. So it's like, we got you. Like, it's a lot easier than I think everyone, like, I think their bosses are like, I'm going to throw this on you. And then I feel like everyone thinks like it's so much to do.
Yep.
When I came in here and they're like, Jackie, like, put together a survey, and like, I think it was like my third day here. I'm like, well, I'll just give it a shot. I just did it. I'm like, okay. So then like, I know that it's easy.
And I think that's really what we want to dive into today. And you hit like so many points I want to talk about. One being it doing employee surveys will save you money. That is a fact. There is like many studies outside of QuestionPro. This isn't us just trying to be like, come save money by buying our software.
Yeah,
there are many studies that cited, McKinsey, Gartner, they all cite these about how doing employee research or employee surveys can save you money by understanding your employee base better. The second thing you kind of talked about is it's not as complicated as people think it is. So let's dive into it's not as complicated as people think it is. Sometimes I think we eat our own dog food too much, where we're like employee experience and build your diversity and inclusion programs and empathy at scale and build your,
all the fun lingo.
So much fun lingo. And everyone, I would say if I was a junior person, I'd be like, I don't have 10 years to build an employee experience program. I have a month to do a survey.
Yeah. Or a week or days.
Or 2 days.
Like what are they throwing at you?
Yeah. So talk a little bit about if you're in your first time role and you have a boss that comes to you and say like, hey, we need to understand why people are unhappy, right? You've heard a lot, let's say they've heard a lot of chatter, and they come to someone and say, how do I start? We need to get a survey out there. How does someone start with that? What are some of the basics? Starting at building an employee survey from scratch, or from start, not from scratch.
Yeah, I mean, it's the easiest thing working with QuestionPro is that one, you don't have to be an organizational psychologist.
Shout out to the one we have.
Oh no. We have one in-house, and she's already made all these templates for us. I wouldn't know where to start. Like, that is like, I don't want to reinvent these wheels.
Right.
We have all of this made up for us.
Right.
And it's really easy. And I'm just going to like share my screen.
Love it.
Just because it just makes sense to actually just see it. So
ready? I'm going to add it to the stage now. Ta-da!
Okay. Look at these magic fingers. So when I say like we don't have to reinvent the wheel, but like maybe there's like questions we want to, like, I love this because there are so many different questions. Like, we have everything that you can possibly think of. If it's objectives, career development, like, all the lingo that Crystal is talking about. Like, I'm sorry.
Something here I even want to put out there for first timers is, you see at the top where it says create a new workforce study. Even you don't have to create a study. You can just create one survey. And that's okay.
Yeah. Like, all these questions, like, are you serious? Like, no, and the thing is, like, you also don't have to use every single one of these questions. Like,
that's true.
I don't care. Like, this doesn't make sense to my company. Recognition is super important to my company. Like, maybe this is the only part I want to use. Like,
right.
It is meant to be flexible. It is meant to just fix and like get to the questions and the answers that you want to get to. And then the employee net promoter score. This is, I think you should always just end with this. It's something that you can like use like year after year just to see like where you at, right?
Right.
I mean, I think I would kind of word it differently, maybe. How likely are you to recommend someone you respect?
That's real. Like, I love that. But you can also edit the questions.
I think it's super professional.
Once you add them in. This is QuestionPro wants to make employee surveys as easy as possible for people. And we don't want people to be scared that they have to create this whole program when really, we want you to just get started asking questions. I think sometimes people get a little overwhelmed. I know I have in the past. I've gotten overwhelmed by, and this is great. See, look at that. She already generated it. And it's already there. It's a survey. It's not a 10-year long study. It's not a 5-year culture measurement. It's a survey. And that's okay.
Yeah. You can also do like fun smiley faces. I like the smiley faces.
Yeah. You can also create custom smiley faces, which is
so much
very exciting.
Fun stuff that like, yeah.
So at the very top also though,
there's a lot we can do.
Some basics
super simple. Like,
building your survey are, let's go maybe just up to the top and we can work our way down. You want to add a logo when you're building your survey. You want to make sure people know where the survey is coming from. I don't know how many times I've gotten surveys. I'm like, where did this come from? And you cannot assume that your employees know the survey is coming.
That is extremely important. Even before you send it, it is important, very important, to let your company and whoever you're sending it to why you are sending them a survey in the first place. Like, it is important because you want to hear from them what their needs are, and that it is coming from a third party. It is anonymous, that you truly want to make this company better for them, because that is where you're going to really get the best responses. You're really going to understand what their needs are and to figure out, are there going to be quick fixes? Are there going to be things that you can work on throughout the year to make this company better and to get, to really decrease turnover? And by doing that, God, you're going to be very magical in your company if you can find these answers.
You can be magical by sending a survey. I love that. That should be the new QuestionPro tagline.
Yeah. Do you want to be magical?
Send the survey today. And that is another thing. Go.
I'm just going off what you're saying, to let your company know why you're doing this survey, and that it's not just surprise, here's a survey, fill out these questions. They need to know why they're doing it. And if they're given these answers to give you feedback to make their lives and this company better, you better believe they're going to take their time, and that the response rate, which is huge, you want to get into that 90-100% response rate so that you can get as much information as possible to give the best, initiatives moving forward to make your company and your employees' lives better. So it's super important to give them a heads up.
Yes. And what we do here at QuestionPro is we do one yearly employee survey, and that is very important to us. We have some other programs for career development, etc. But the 1 a year survey, we started it, I think, in 2020. And those first year, when it just came out, and everybody's like, what's happening? No, response rates were low. But now, as we've done it year over year, and we only do it once a year, it's okay. Now more people trust it, though, and they understand it comes out it comes out in February or March. And then we actually have things that happen because of it. So when you send out the survey, and it can look beautiful, which is what we're going to talk about here in a second, and accessible as needed, make sure that you actually do something with the information, because if you don't, people aren't going to want to take it again. But absolutely, as we get back to some of the basics, we could talk all day about the theories of employee experience surveys and why, trust and the psychology around it. Thankfully, we have somebody who covers that at QuestionPro. But today, we also still want to stick to the basics, making sure your survey looks nice. What do we got here, Jackie?
This is new. Obviously, there's a little, but coming to realize, marketing has always been very important to me. I have my degree in marketing, but even when you're at a restaurant, right, you eat with your eyes first. And Crystal said, make sure you have your logo on it. We don't want it to look like QuestionPro. We want it to look like it's coming from your company. We want it to be fun. We want it to be interactive, as much as surveys can be, right? I mean, surveys. Gosh, I got flowers for Valentine's Day, which I pretty much told them to send me flowers, but whatever. But somehow I got a text asking me how those flowers were. We get surveys for everything. So in order to help us, make sure that we are taking these, make them interactive, make them want to go to the next page, make them understand this is coming from your company and it's something, so we don't want it white and black.
Or white and blue. If you've ever used a default QuestionPro survey, the blue is our brand colors. And it is so easy to change that I almost feel bad sometimes. And I'm like, well, it's my branding, so then I don't feel too bad.
Yeah.
But you can go in here in the themes and you can change and customize everything. You cannot tell me if you're working in a large organization or any size organization that there are not some brand guidelines that your marketing team would like you to follow. And that will definitely help visually remind your employees, oh, hey, this is from my company. I need to take this and feel that relation to it. And it's mobile friendly, it's desktop friendly. You can have them take it on their phone. You can email it to them. Look at that. You can check out all the different sizes here in the platform pretty easily. And building customization and marketing for a survey is really important for those response rates that you want high. If you only have 10% of your employees fill out your survey, you're only getting 10% of their voices, and that is not a representation of everyone's needs and desires and feedback.
And we're just talking about simplicity and keeping this simple. Like, we don't need a marketing degree to customize this. We're talking about just adding a picture.
Yep.
Like editing. Like very simple. As simple as can be.
Oh, yeah.
So this is meant for simplicity and quickness. Also, when you work with QuestionPro, you are not on your own.
It's true.
You have a person that is your same person throughout the entire project and throughout your entire agreement with QuestionPro that comes with your contract, which is very different from other vendors that either you pay for or you're just on your own and DIYing, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that really sets us apart. And like when you do put a survey together with your client support manager, you don't just send it out and it's like, okay, we're done. No, it's like, bye. Let's sucker out, right? And let's make sure it's like everyone's on the same page. It's exactly how your CEO wants it. It's how you want it to be. So everyone is happy. And when it gets sent out to the entire company, it's how it should be.
Yeah. And so that is
not on your own.
You're not on your own. And that is why, I would say QuestionPro has a large difference if you're using a free survey software, not to be named, and that we really make the difference when it comes to that. But that difference does not mean that it is more overwhelming. We will work at your pace. And if you want to keep it simple, we'll keep it simple. You want to build a complex survey for your complex org, we will support that. And that is some of the benefits that Jackie knows and that we talk about a lot here at QuestionPro. But now that you've designed it and it looks beautiful, and so you got your questions from our survey templates, you've built your survey with just little one clicks, you've designed your survey. How do we distribute it, Jackie? And you had mentioned something earlier about anonymity and and can you dive into why that's important when it comes to distribution?
Yes. Especially with the answers, that we are receiving, the importance to let your employees know that it is coming from a third party. The responses that you'll get will be so much more truthful. A lot of times, if my manager was to ask me, like, tell me your thoughts on how your team's doing, but it has come directly from my email, I'd be like, the team is doing so good. Like, this is amazing. But like, hey, if it's coming anonymously, like, tell me, like, really how we can improve. And that's really where we have templates where we can help saying that this is coming from a third party. You know, the anonymous responses are appreciated. And, you know, we appreciate your trust and look forward to serving you in the future. Obviously, we have contracted with QuestionPro, an independent research team. Yeah, so I don't need to make this up myself. It's in there.
Yeah.
It's extremely important because everything that we are working with and the data and analytics that are being sent back to your company, we get this information. You'll receive it back. It'll come with obviously the department that it came from or the location so that you can still break out the data to understand, you know, that we need to get better in this location. We need to get better in this department or this level, but we won't know exactly who it came from.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's better for everyone. We need to understand how we can make the company better, but your employees will know that there will be no retaliation.
And that I think is key, even when you start saying like, hey, you know, 2 weeks before, hey, in 2 weeks, we're going to send an employee survey, and just make sure you talk about that anonymity in that. I know there is a lot of memes and TikToks and Instagram reels or TikToks that are posted to Instagram about how surveys aren't anonymous and, you know, how employees don't trust them. But that is why we here at QuestionPro are here to support you, making sure that you can't get up to shenanigans. We will keep you honest because we keep ourselves honest, and we, you know, build software to support employees, not to retaliate against employees. This is, you know, we are passionate about things like anonymity, not just in our employee experience software, but in all of our survey software. It's not just special to employee experience. Sorry. But this is a great way. Then you can start with an email list here, right, Jackie?
Yes. So there's a couple different ways that we work with our clients. One of the best things is we integrate with their HRS system, and so that we work with their roster, and so it's all automated.
But if they don't have a roster, let's say you're at a small to mid-sized company, what do they do then?
Yep, we can work with either we can do it manually or we can do an upload through an Excel. So like the easiest way we can work with you however you would want to work with us.
Right.
So the flexibility is if you want to send us emails, if you want to set it up yourself. Another thing is you don't have to have it where it's coming from Career Builder. We can have it come from your...
Jackie, you don't work at Career Builder.
That was my other QuestionPro.
Gotcha.
Hey, gotta love the employment world. We are definitely having it come from there, or having it come from QuestionPro. So you can have it come from your company's email address. It definitely does not have to come from QuestionPro. So we can have it come from your email. And so it will all come from you. Yeah. And we'll have it set up to however you want us to get the employees. So we'll work with you. The flexibility with QuestionPro is always how I think we stand out. Yeah. The flexibility, the ease of working with us, and having a person to back you up, so that you're never kind of working on it on your own as a kind of a DIY.
Well, and I makes us
stand out.
Yeah. And I think that as you talk about employee surveys made simple. And let's say you're not set up to do an entire culture program or entire employee experience program. You're just like one person that's been tasked with doing the employee survey.
A lot of my clients are.
We don't want you sitting there hand typing every employee's email address in or having to copy and paste rosters in, right? We don't want you having to do that by hand. We want to be able to.
No one's got time for that.
But there are people who are using some free survey software out there and just trying to do it one at a time. And we want to take that burden off of you. We're here to support you in even the simplest task.
Absolutely.
Like, there's a poor guy out there just like copying and pasting email addresses in, trying to send them out.
Oh, my heart goes out to him.
So after the survey's been sent out and you start collecting all of our anonymous data points and feedback, what do we do after that?
Yes. After that, we were going to be collecting all these analytics for you.
Well, not because it's empty.
Yes, I'll actually bring you to one. So what we'll do, stop this. And so what we're able to do is we're able to collect all this data and put together an analytics platform for you. And you're able to share it either with anyone can see this information. So it doesn't matter on how many people want to see this information. The best thing about this is that you can share it with all different levels. You can share with all the managers, but it's one place where you're able to bring all the data together.
That's what we like.
And really get a sense of how either different locations are doing, different divisions, really get an idea of really how many people took the survey.
Yeah. So, what I like to think about is, okay, so let's say you're a small to mid-size and you're doing it all by yourself. But if you come to QuestionPro, we'll help you. But if you're doing it all by yourself, you then have to create reports and insights to share up the ladder about different things you should be doing and things that can affect change, or here's like things we've flagged, here's things we've not flagged. What's great about QuestionPro that Jackie will show here in a second is we can do that automated for you almost. These are why these dashboards are here, is to help bring that lift off of you. And then you can share those lifts up the ladder. So you could say, okay, here's the marketing team's dashboard. And here's the engineering team dashboard. Each up-level managers don't need to be like, oh, well, marketing's got some, they're not doing very well. Like, engineering doesn't need to know that. And so you can share the different dashboards with different teams. Are you ready for me to pop that up there?
Absolutely.
Here we go. People Analytics Dashboard Demo. Do not let large names of things scare you. Remember, these are simple employee experience surveys.
And I will simplify this. All this response rate is, it just shows you who it was sent to, who completed it, and what is pending. So this is just to let you know, like, how many we have left, who needs to complete the survey that you sent out. That's all that you need to know.
There we go.
This next one, the scorecard, kind of just simplifies it. This whole thing is just organizing your life, right? Of the survey. And organizing, this is like, I love this whole thing, right? So you can break it down. This will have every question that you put in the survey. So if you have 10 questions, if you have 20, if you have 15, right? It just shows you, obviously, this is everyone's response. But you can lock this down to we can have the manager of one division, they only see their team's response.
Right.
And guess what? You don't have to figure this out on your own. We have your client support that will help make this. It is super easy because this is all made how I want it to look. So
Right.
like, I make this because I want it to look this way. I can choose any single one of these widgets that I want because I want it to look this way. So it's simple. I pick what I want it to look like, and that's my dashboard.
And when you're looking at these things, don't get scared by things like driver analysis, right? If you don't know what that means, one, you could probably do something else, or we will teach you.
Or yeah, ask your client support manager, like, hey, is this what I need?
Yep.
Like,
right. So
me through
remember, do not
help me
especially
build my
like
dashboard.
yeah. I would definitely, and I always want to stick me and Jackie's, our jobs are to stick ourselves in your shoes. And if you feel overwhelmed, you're not the only one in the world. So make sure you come open-handed with lots of questions. And if you just say, Jackie, I'm just sending a survey, we totally get it. We're here for that. We're not going to try and make you more complicated than you want to be.
Yeah, like when I first came, I'm like, what's ENPS? Like that wasn't like part of my world back when I worked at Career Builder. I worked at QuestionPro. But now it's ENPS. Like that's all I talk about now.
Right.
Like it's super important. Like that is like one of the best questions. Like I would always throw that at the end of whatever, even if like your survey is 5 questions, throw it at the bottom. It's just like, let me know how I'm doing. Like good smiley face, bad smiley face. Tell me how I'm doing. Right.
Right.
And then you can use that year over year to like see like, hey, like, are we doing better from what we learned last year and like the initiatives that we got? You know, did it help us increase? And everyone thinks like they heard, like we heard them.
Mm-hmm.
So it really can show you like year over year, you know, from 2022 to 2023, how are we doing?
Right.
I think that's one of the best, easiest questions just to throw on the end of any survey.
Mm-hmm. And I think also the more you do it, the more people, your employees will feel like it's, oh, they ask us because they're tracking it, right? It's also, there is a little bit of, I would say, employee education when it comes to surveys. So if you're, don't get too overwhelmed yourself because you also want to make sure your employees know that, hey, we're going to keep doing this. This isn't just a one-time thing. It only has to be a yearly thing. We're not trying to get you to survey every month. I mean, you could, but what else? And so, making sure that they say, oh, if I take this every year, then maybe in 2 years and 3 years, they'll start seeing trends and other things will change too. The more you start just little baby steps is really, really good. And you can build these beautiful dashboards to share with your executives.
Absolutely. And then if we're going to take it just one more baby step, with the information that we get from the dashboards, love organization, right? Like, dude, you should check out my
Jackie loves.
I label,
You can also
I label
tell you're like, I want to
everything.
tell you all the things.
Like I label everything, right? With the initiatives that you can get from, the answers that you receive from your surveys, it's like, okay, like then normally it's all in a bunch of emails, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where can we house and just track these initiatives to help like put them in one area and make sure that they're being pushed forward? Or like who's ever, your CEO, like from this survey, we have these initiatives. Here's their due date. They're pending. So like keeping track of them, we platform that also comes included with workforce, it is a great area to put all your initiatives in one place. You put certain people who would actually be the best person to help move it forward, attached to it. You can put deadlines attached to them. It's just a great place to help tie it all together, to help simplify it, because there's so many emails, or like we do chatter, right? There's so many chatter things. I don't know. I think it's a great way to help make sure, like, once you have those initiatives, like, who's going to be moving them forward? Are they moving forward? Are there deadlines? Is anyone doing anything? So it's a great spot.
Because assuming, let's say you're Bob, and you've been told to send an employee survey because there was gossip or there was something that happened at your org. We hope nothing bad happened, but sometimes that's, there is always a catalyst of why you have to send a survey. And then when you send that survey and you get all the feedback, the reason that employees do not trust employee surveys is because nothing ever happens. And so what you want to make sure is that when you get all that feedback and you've looked at it and you can see your word clouds, or you can see, this was our, engineering or marketing or product or this location as the low scores, or they really want, some career development, or they need, education or training. You can take all of that and make those initiatives. And then the next time you send out an employee survey, hopefully you'll get higher responses because they actually saw that you did something with the data you collected. What we see a lot, and I would say in all parts of surveys, is a lot of people collect data just to collect data for the sake of doing it. And
just to say that it was done, like, check off the list.
And at the end of the day, we understand that everybody has a job to be done, right? We all know that. My job is literally to run office hours. And so making sure that your job is done is important, but making sure that I could get on here and run office hours about anything I wanted. We could talk about my face serum routine, but because then I would be doing office hours. But what I do is I make sure I coordinate with people from different parts of the team to build an office hours that's valuable. We want to make sure that you're doing the same for your employee surveys, that you're building employee surveys that are valuable, because checking it off the list, does that really make a change? No, it doesn't. Plot twist, it doesn't. Okay. Jackie, we've got a few minutes left. So tell us one more secret to QuestionPro Workforce. What's your favorite thing about it? How do they, what's something that maybe I don't even know, because Workforce is not you can tell I'm really comfortable with surveys, but I do not know this one as much.
Yeah. I mean, I was just a little like a personal story. I think this is like one that we just spoke about, is that you can make quick surveys within minutes. My fiance was a speaker at the Chicago Auto Show, and there was 300 children coming in to listen, and they didn't set them up with any surveys to have a place for the kids to have just a platform to ask questions. I'm like, oh, no, you didn't. So I'm in the car with like 15 minutes like to get there. I'm like setting up a quick survey, made a QR code, had them print it out and put it on his table, because every kid has a mobile phone. All they did, take a picture of the QR code, brings them straight to the survey, had them put in all their information, where they were able to ask Mike a quick question. Mike was able to answer them all. So it's like, there's so much different ways that you can use this survey extremely, like, very quickly. I was able to use like the really quick, cute background that was on their mobile phone. Oh, the teachers were like, this is so cute. I'm like, thank you.
Thanks. I did it in the car.
But then they're starting to ask me like car questions. I'm like, okay, like,
No,
I'm gonna
abort.
back away. I'm like, too far.
We have an academic team. Shout out to teachers if you need an academic license. We've got
Right.
one of those.
But like that is just how quick and easy these surveys can be, and it's for any audience. Like this is, you know, students, teachers, any, you know, we have different languages for, you know, field representatives, any type of employee that you have, we will be able to reach them. And you will have someone behind you to help you get through whatever questions that you have. And you're not alone, because I feel like, you know, just speaking with so many different people, obviously I'm newer to this a little bit type of industry coming from the employment world. But it was just great to hear how we differ from other vendors and how we help keep it simple, because we don't just leave you high and dry. Like we kind of just help. We're there when you need us, and we'll just help you make sure that you get to the end and the survey is sent out and it's sent out correctly. Because we won't let you just be on your own.
We won't let you look bad, right? We're here to make
I know. It's like we want you to look magical.
Right?
We magical is like
the magical employee surveyor of your company. But then you could also, again, I mean, we all use surveys for like fun things. I use surveys in my personal life to help plan our family vacations, because then people vote. And
your family vacation was amazing.
So, you know, there is a lot of ways to use surveys in your everyday life. You could also use them at work to, you know, I don't know, plan your next company outing. You can use an employee survey to do a lot of other things. It doesn't have to be like a yearly review thing. You could plan a company outing. You could help with the Christmas party voting, because you know there's always those people that complain that they didn't get to have an opinion about where the Christmas party is. Surveys can help everybody feel heard. As someone who's had to plan the Christmas party, trust me. Because then I can be like, well, you took the survey and I heard you. Whether I choose to accept their feedback or not is a different thing. But this is so good. If you have any
the surveys can be endless.
Surveys can be endless. If you have any questions,
have to be the yearly.
Reach out to Jackie on LinkedIn, or, you know, get on our chat on QuestionPro.com, and she will help guide you through the future of your employee surveys, even if they're simple, right? You just want to do that, how to plan a pizza party, who needs what allergies, or if you want to do a long-term study, we can help you do either of those things. And employee surveys don't have to be scary. They can be really easy, and we are here to help you do that.
It can actually be fun.
I mean, you know, I always think that surveys are fun, but I'm a nerd, and
are we not?
We're really fun. Think about working with us every day. You know, people are like, I gotta leave this video now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jackie, for joining us. And next month, I will be talking about the basics of surveys. So we'll kind of be going almost a little, you know, covering some of the topics we covered today, but this will be for our Question Pro Essentials. So join me on the fourth Monday of March, and I will be talking about the basics of surveys. I don't have a guest yet, so TBD on who's going to be coming on, because like I'll be there again. And Jackie, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Crystal.
Bye.